Hey guys, it's Rista. Today is day 144 of me reading through the Bible in 1 year. I'm going to start reading in 2 Samuel 4, but before I get started, I do want to say a quick prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for another day. Thank you for this holiday weekend as we get to celebrate and honor those who honored our country and sacrificed for our country. God, I just ask that you be comfort and peace for those who have lost loved ones in the service of our country. I pray that as everybody celebrates this weekend, you keep us safe and you just allow us to remember the importance of sacrifices. As I read these words aloud, that you soften my heart, you open my eyes and my ears. I pray that you do the same for anybody who's coming in contact with this video. In your name I pray, amen. When Ishbosheth, Saul's son, heard about Abner's death at Hebron, he lost all courage, and all Israel became paralyzed with fear. Now there are two brothers, Baanah and Rechab, who were captains of Ishbosheth's raiding parties. They were the sons of Rimmon, a member of the tribe of Benjamin who lived in Beeroth. The town of Beeroth is now part of Benjamin's territory, because the original people of Beeroth fled to Gittaim, where they still live as foreigners. Saul's son Jonathan had a son named Mephibosheth. He was crippled as a child. He was 5 years old when the report came from Jezreel about Saul and Jonathan and how they had been killed in battle. When the child's nurse heard the news, she picked him up and fled, but as she hurried away, she dropped him and he became crippled. One day, Rechab and Baanah, the sons of Rimmon from Beeroth, went to Ishbosheth's house around noon as he was taking his midday rest. The doorkeeper, who had been sifting wheat, became drowsy and fell asleep. So Rechab and Baanah slipped past her. They went into the house and they found Ishbosheth sleeping in his bed. They struck and killed him and cut off his head. When taking his head with them, they fled across the Jordan Valley through the night. When they arrived at Hebron, they presented Ishbosheth's head to David. "Look," they exclaimed to the king, "here he is. Here is the head of Ishbosheth, the son of your enemy Saul, who tried to kill you. Today the Lord has given my lord, the king, revenge on Saul and his entire family." David said to Rechab and Baanah, "The Lord who saves me from all my enemies is my witness. Someone once told me Saul is dead, thinking he was bringing good news, but I seized him and killed him at Ziklag. That's the reward I gave him for his news. How much more should I reward evil men who have killed innocent man in his house on his own bed? Shouldn't I hold you responsible for his blood and rid the earth of you?" So David ordered his young men to kill them, and they did. They cut off their hands and their feet, and they hung their bodies beside the pool of Hebron. Then they took Ishbosheth's head and buried it in Abner's tomb in Hebron. Then all the tribes of Israel went to David at Hebron and told him, "We are your own flesh and blood. In the past, when Saul was our king, you were the one who really led the forces of Israel. The Lord told you, 'You will be the shepherd of my people of Israel. You will be Israel's leader.' So there at Hebron, King David made a covenant before the Lord with the elders of Israel, and they anointed him king of Israel. David was 30 years old when he began to reign. He reigned for 40 years in all. He had reigned over Judah and Hebron for 7 years and 6 months. And from Jerusalem he reigned all over Israel and Judah for 33 years. David led his men to Jerusalem to fight against the Jebusites, the original inhabitants of the land that they were living. The Jebusites taunted David, saying, 'You'll never get in here. Even the blind and lame could keep you out.' The Jebusites thought that they were safe, but David captured the fortress of Zion, which is now called the City of David. On the day of the attack, David said to his troops, 'I hate those lame and blind Jebusites. Whoever attacks them should strike by going into the city through the water tunnel.' That is the origin of the saying, 'The blind and the lame may not enter the house.' So David made the fortress his home. He called it the City of David. He extended the city, starting at the supporting terraces and working inward. David became more and more powerful because the Lord, the God of heaven armies, was with him. Then King Hiram of Tyre sent messengers to David along with the cedar, timber, and carpenters and stonemasons, and they built David a palace. David realized that the Lord had confirmed him as king over Israel and had blessed him in his kingdom for the sake of the people of Israel. After moving from Hebron to Jerusalem, David married more concubines and wives. They had more sons and more daughters. The names of David's sons who were born in Jerusalem were Shemua, Shobab, Nathan, Solomon, Ibar, Elishua, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Elidiah, and Eliphelet. The Philistines heard that David had been anointed king of Israel. They mobilized their forces to capture him. But David told they were coming, so he went into the stronghold. The Philistines arrived and spread out across the valley of Rephaim. So David asked the Lord, "Should I go out and fight the Philistines? Will you hand them over to me?" The Lord replied to David, "Yes, go ahead. I'll certainly hand them over to you." David went to Baal Perazim and defeated the Philistines there. "The Lord did it," David exclaimed. "He burst through my enemies like a raging flood." So he named that place Baal Perazim, which means the Lord burst through. The Philistines had abandoned their idols there, so David and his men confiscated them. But after a while, the Philistines returned and again spread out across the valley of Rephaim. Again, David asked the Lord what to do. Do not attack them straight on, the Lord replied. Instead, circle behind and attack them near the poplar trees. When you hear a sound like marching feet on the tops of the poplar trees, be on alert. That is the signal that the Lord is moving ahead of you and to strike down the Philistine army. So David did what the Lord commanded, and he struck down the Philistines all the way from Gibeon to Gezer. David then gathered all the elite troops in Israel, 30,000 in all. He led them to Baalah of Judah to bring back the ark of God, which bears the name of the Lord of heaven armies. He is enthroned between the cherubim. They placed the ark of God on a new cart and brought it from Abinadab's house, which was on the hill. Uzzah and Ahio, Abinadab's sons, were guiding the cart that carried the ark of God. Ahio walked in front of the ark, and David and all the people of Israel celebrated before the Lord, singing songs and playing all kinds of musical instruments: lyres, harps, tambourines, castanets, cymbals. When they arrived at the threshold of the floor of Nacon, the oxen stumbled, and Uzzah reached out his hand and steadied the ark of God. Then the Lord's anger aroused against Uzzah, and God struck him dead because of this. So Uzzah died right there beside the ark of God. David was angry because the Lord's anger had burst out against Uzzah. They named the place Perez Uzzah, which means to burst against Uzzah. It's still called that today. David was now afraid of the Lord, and he asked, how can I ever bring the ark of the Lord back into my care? David decided not to move the ark of the Lord into the city of David. Instead, he took it to the house of Obed-Edom of Gath. The ark of the Lord remained there at Obed-Edom's house for 3 months. The Lord had blessed Obed-Edom's household and everything he had because of the ark of God. So David went there and brought the ark of God out from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David with great celebration. After the men who were carrying the ark of the Lord had gone up 6 steps, David sacrificed a bull and a fattened calf. David danced before the Lord with all of his might, wearing his priestly garment. David and the people of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouts of joy and blowing of ram's horn. But as the ark of the Lord entered the city of David, Michal, the daughter of Saul, looked down from her window. When she saw David leaping and dancing before the Lord, she was filled with contempt for him. They brought the ark of the Lord, and they set it in its place inside the special tent David had prepared for it. David sacrificed burnt offerings and peace offerings to the Lord. When he had finished his sacrifices, David blessed his people in the name of the Lord of heaven armies. He gave every Israelite man and woman in the crowd a loaf of bread, a cake of dates, and a cake of raisins. All the people then returned to their homes. When David returned home to bless his own family, Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet him. She said in disgust, "How distinguished the king of Israel looked today, shamelessly exposing himself to the servant girls like a vulgar person might do." David retorted to Michal, "I was dancing before the Lord who chose me above your father and all of his family. He appointed me the leader of Israel, the people of the Lord, so I celebrated before the Lord. Yes, I'm willing to look even more foolish than this, even be humiliated in my own eyes. But those servant girls you mentioned will indeed think that I am distinguished." So Michal, the daughter of Saul, remained childless throughout her life. Just as soon as Judas left the room, Jesus said, "The time has come for the Son of Man to enter into his glory and God to be glorified because of him. Since God receives the glory because of the Son, he will give his own glory to the Son, and he will do so at once. Dear children, I will be with you only a little longer. And as I told the Jewish leaders, you will search for me, but you can't come where I'm going. So now I'm giving you a new commandment. Love each other just as I've loved you. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples." Simon Peter asked the Lord, "Where are you going?" Jesus replied, "You can't go with me now, but you will follow me later." "Well, why can't I come now, Lord?" he asked. "I'm ready to die for you." Jesus answered, "Die for me? I tell you the truth, Peter. Before the rooster crows tomorrow, you'll deny 3 times that you even know me. Don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God, and also trust in me. There is more than enough room in my Father's home. If it were not so, I would not tell you that I'm going to prepare a place for you. When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am. And you know the way to where I'm going." "No, we don't, Lord," Thomas said. "We have no idea where you're going. How can we know the way?" Jesus told him, "I am the way, the truth, the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. If you had really known me, you would know who my Father is. From now on, you do know him, and you have seen him." Philip said, "Lord, show us the Father, and we'll be satisfied." Jesus replied, "Have I been with you all of this time, Philip, and yet you still don't know who I am? Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. Why are you still asking me to show him to you? Don't you believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? The words I speak are not my own, but my Father who lives in me does the work through me. Just believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, or at least believe of the work that you have seen me do. I tell you the truth, anyone who believes in me will do the same works. I have done, and even greater works, because I'm going to be with the Father. You can ask for anything in my name, and I will do it, so that the Son can bring glory to the Father. Yes, ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it. Psalm 119, 17 through 32. Be good to your servant, that I may live and obey your word. Open my eyes to see the wonderful truths of your instructions. I'm only a foreigner in the land. Don't hide your commands from me. I'm always overwhelmed with desire for your regulations. You rebuke the arrogant. Those who wander from your command are cursed. Don't let them scorn and insult me. I have obeyed your laws. Even princes sit and speak against me. I will meditate on your decrees. Your laws please me. They give me wise advice. I lie in the dust. Revive me by your word. I told you my plans, and you answered. Now teach me your decrees. Help me understand the meaning of your commandments, and I will meditate on your wonderful deeds. I will weep with sorrow. Encourage me by your word. Keep me from lying to myself. Give me the privilege of knowing your instructions. I have chosen to be faithful. I have determined to live by your regulations. I cling to your laws. Lord, don't let me be put to shame. I will pursue your commands, for you expand my understanding. Proverbs 15, 31 and 32. If you listen to constructive criticism, you'll be at home among the wise. If you reject discipline, you only harm yourself. If you listen to correction, you will grow in understanding.